I have to tell you that one of my favorite verses that I have quoted for decades at our Weekend to Remember Marriage conferences is Luke 1:37. And it's when Gabriel came to talk to Mary and to tell her that she was going to be the mother of Jesus. And he said to her, "Nothing is impossible with God." And I hung on to that in lots of seasons in our marriage, and not just in marriage situations and marriage circumstances, also with our kids. Because there were lots of times with our kids, raising our children, that I felt it was impossible. I wasn't sure what to do. I wasn't sure how we would survive, how we would get through this. And that verse was a rock to me. It was an anchor to me in lots of circumstances of life. Nothing is impossible for God. Therefore, my marriage is not impossible. My situation is not impossible. This person's heart is not too hard. Mine is not too hard. God is big enough. If we wait and let him and invite him, he can do miracles. And don't we all want to see miracles?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, he will do the miracles if we will invite him and then wait for him to work. I think we're way too impatient. I think we're way too ready to quit and give up and say, well, God didn't come through, so done. And I want to encourage women not to do that, not to give up, because God will come through if we trust him and ask him and invite him in. He will give us what we need.
I want to take just a moment and stop and park on that thought. Nothing is impossible for God. And I want you to think about the most impossible situation that relates to your family. It may be a marriage, it may be a child, it may be something with extended family or in-laws or whatever. Just think about that situation. It came right to your mind. I know it did.
Yeah.
And then I want you to say with me, just affirm that truth of God's word. Nothing is impossible for God. Let me hear you say it. Nothing is impossible for God. And you may be listening to this broadcast in your car or as you're jogging, you're listening to the podcast. I want you to join us in saying out loud, nothing is impossible for God. And you know, that may be a verse that you just cling to, hang on to, take with you throughout this day and the days ahead, and just begin to affirm the truth of God's word. Nothing, even this, nothing is impossible for God. And you'll find that as you counsel your heart according to the truth of God's word, that truth takes over and emotions, feelings become servants to the truth. Nothing is impossible for God. And Barbara, I caught that message loud and clear as I read your book, because you restated it over and over again.
I did. I mentioned it a lot. And near the end of the book, one of the things I love about that verse is that God in his kindness and grace didn't just say it one time. He said it 8 different ways. And I list all 8 of those verses near the end of the book, because it's not just that nothing is impossible for God, but nothing is too hard. He says it in different ways. And I just love that he cares for us so much, that he gives us that message in different ways and speaks to us in different moments. So those are all listed in there, because I need every one of them in my life, and I know you do too.